Hey everyone, it is Sunday, July 2nd, 2017. Happy July. Happy Independence Day if you're in America. And it's time to go to work on music. It's been an awesome day so far. I'm in a really good place and excited for a productive session. I decided to take yesterday off, which was really nice to have a break. Honestly, I ended up watching a really good interview with Chris Lord-Alge, who's a big-time mix engineer, and making a lot of notes on that. It's from Pensado's Place, if you're familiar with that, and it's a great YouTube channel. They interview a bunch of mix and master engineers and producers and ask all kind of really cool questions. So Chris Lord-Alge is the guy who mixed a bunch of hits back in the day, like some Bruce Springsteen records and a lot of hard rock records. Um, he mixed "Living in America" by James Brown, which was like a big breakout hit for him. And he's just very well known in the mixing community. He's mixed like Nickelback records and just like huge records. He mixed "American Idiot" by Green Day, just big time stuff. And he's got a very signature sound that's very loud and very clean and very much rooted in rock and roll. And I'd really recommend that interview. But kind of getting ahead of myself here. So anyway, I've got a few days off from my teaching gig right now, so I decided to kind of take a little breather yesterday, relax, take care of some personal stuff, get back on the music front today. So I'm going to hit some online classes here. I'm going to hit a drum practice, and then the big goal today is to start to get set up to track drums on this song I'm working on. So that means finalizing the end arrangement, getting some scratch vocals down for that, and then just starting to track. I'm probably going to end up, I don't know. I might try to lay down some scratch tracks with my existing setup, but I think the way to get the best results is I'm probably going to go back to my old V-drum setup, which is just a little more versatile. I have more triggers. It's a little more natural in terms of feel. An acoustic drum set, even though it's a bigger footprint, and I probably wouldn't use it live necessarily. But this is more like studio stuff now, so I think it makes more sense to use that. I'm also going to do some research on a new drum brain, which will probably be able to capitalize on some of the features of the V-drums that I haven't been able to use the last few years because I've had the Alesis trigger module, which I've been really happy with, but it's just a little limiting. I think it only offers one trigger, and if it offers more, I haven't figured out how to set up more. But the Roland brains that originally came with those V-drum pads have different pressure sensitive things, and they have multiple triggers for each drum, which I think will just help me get a much more realistic feel out of the drum kit, and that's going to be really valuable for this record, and I want it to be as good as it possibly can be. So I think I'm just going to bite the bullet, do some setting up of that stuff today. So I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Let's get into it. All right, guys. Good session overall today. I kind of felt like I was out of the groove from yesterday and getting back in the groove today. And it feels good to just be kind of sharpening my mind and getting back into the decision-making aspect of making this record. Um, got it on the online class front, was pretty straightforward. Hit my music business class, that's going well. And got just was learning a little bit about digital distribution like CD Baby and TuneCore, and I've done quite a bit of research on that stuff, comparing the different options. So there wasn't that much new for me, but if you guys are going to distribute your music digitally, it really pays to know your stuff there. So I'd really recommend doing your diligence on that. Um, then I was getting into my quick drum practice, just kept that pretty light, which was good. And then I took a short break, did some reading, and then came back, and I was gonna break down this smaller kit and set up the big kit, and maybe even I started looking into what the Roland brains are costing these days, and there might be a time for that. Honestly, I'm not feeling limited in that respect, which is really nice. But at the same time, sorry, this is my alarm here. At the same time, I just thought, let me just think about these drum parts and how I want them to sound, and do I really need to spend the time breaking this thing down, setting the other thing up, spend the money to get the other thing, wait for the other thing to come, like get used to that whole workflow, like maybe that is the route to the best quality result, in which case I should probably do that, but I figure let me just try tracking some drums with this setup while it's set up and see what the results are like and compare it to the other setup. Let me just do my diligence and get this right from the beginning, because if it turns out that I can get the sounds I want and the vibe I want and everything I want from this setup, like what is the point of going through all that energy of like making a really big change right now? So I started getting into that, and then I realized like I haven't really finalized the arrangement yet, so then I started listening back to the arrangement, listening to some of the vocals I did last week, and I realized like I was just getting sandbagged, and that I need to just not need, but I want to just start tracking the drums. I just want to start recording the parts, just keep the momentum going forward, and I'll just make decisions as I go on the fly, because every decision that I'm making right now is very speculative. I'm like, okay, how do I want it to sound in my head? Okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, so let me map that out as close as possible. And it's like, I've kind of already done that, I've realized, so I sort of took a step backward today. Not backward, but just realized like, oh shoot, I've sort of already made my peace with this, and now it's time to just move forward. So there might be a better way for me to just record those observations rather than on the video. Maybe I'll do some writing right now just to make sure that I'm up to date and that I know what I need to do. But these are big decisions. Thinking about which drum set I want to use to track the record with, what's going to get me the highest quality results, like, you don't really know. You don't really know till you try it, and that can take a lot of time and energy. So I think I'm just going to think about that a little bit more tonight and tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know what I decide. What I'm feeling right now, if I'm totally honest, is like, I'd really love to get the tracking done with this setup and just like keep it simple. But I'm also thinking like, if I'm going to get the optimum highest quality results from using a more complicated setup, then I feel that I just have to use that more complicated setup. But if it's not really going to make a difference, I'm just going to see what I can do with this for now, and then I'll just compare them. I think I'll just probably tomorrow I'll start tracking drums with this setup, just start getting some preliminary sounds, starting to feel out like which kind of drums I want to use, what type of kit, what I'm going for, and then just start to hammer out the individual parts. And I can always just lay down some scratch takes with this stuff and then come back later with the full kit if I decide like, no, I'm not getting the nuance I want out of this setup. I can come back and just track that stuff over, which is totally fine. But at the end of the day, I'm sort of nearing the like completion phases of this song, and I'm realizing like it's a good time for me, both in the year and also musically and technically right now, with like all the setup I've done for this record, to just start to pick up the pace a little bit as far as like the writing and recording and processing goes, and just like start laying stuff down and just committing and just printing and just like getting good takes and just knocking it out basically. So it was a good reminder today. It was a bit of a slap in the face, honestly. But just kind of, maybe not that, but just like a wake-up call of realizing like, uh-oh, like I'm kind of dead in the water here a little bit. I need to just start like getting in action and moving forward. And I think that's what I was talking about at the end of yesterday's vlog, was just, or a couple days ago, was just like, if you're having trouble making decisions on anything in your head, I think that's the time to just get in action, do something, and then just learn. Like if it was the wrong decision, it's like, okay, gotta back up, make that change. Or if it's the right decision, or if you're just like, oh, that didn't turn out at all how I thought it was going to, so now I need to do this whole other thing. I mean, that's what I'm realizing, is like every day I'm going to come at this from a different perspective, and like I could just work on it forever and just keep tweaking it over and over again. So I think I just need to commit to some stuff, start tracking some parts, just get some awesome vibes happening, and then just move on, because at the end of the day, recordings are really just meant to be a snapshot of your development as an artist and as an individual and as a being. And then you're meant to keep evolving, to continue to evolve constantly day in and day out, and then just take those snapshots over and over time. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys are out there grinding towards your goals. Hope you got something out of today's video. I don't feel like it was the most inspiring production practice session, and I know my videoing has been kind of like not maybe like the best it's ever been, which is not saying that much, but I think I told you guys at the beginning, like, this vlog is just going to start out pretty low rent and pretty possibly low time investment, and I'll build it up over time if it seems worth it. So yeah, I just wish you guys the best. hope you guys are enjoying the weekend and enjoying the process of making your dreams come true, because we all have that opportunity, and it's good to be honest with ourselves and just do the work that needs to happen to make that happen. So that's what we're about here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more. Till then.